Cosmonarchy Brood War is our vision for the real-time strategy genre. Though it is based on Brood War, it differs wildly from the RTS we all know and love, and the macro game is no exception. This video will introduce the core concepts of Cosmonarchy Brood War's macro, and provide some direction for newer players who are interested in taking the plunge. Welcome to the Macro Crash Course. You start a match of Cosmonarchy Brood War with 6 workers as opposed to 4, and 100 minerals as opposed to 50. Workers take 14 seconds to train, a full 1.5 seconds longer than standard Starcraft. Harvesting from mineral fields provides 4 minerals per return, or 2 minerals if the field has been depleted. Mineral fields never expire, so bases will always provide some amount of value. Depleted mineral nodes don't provide collision, allowing you to freely move through them with ground units. You can harvest Vespene straight from the source, with the Geyser providing 4 Vespene, and a new node, the Ridge, providing 2 Vespene. Vespene nodes never deplete, and Geysers can instead have their yields upgraded by being capped by a refinery structure once you achieve Tier 2 tech. At Tier 3, an additional refinery type is unlocked, providing even more Vespene per return. Worker saturation is also changed, with the first 2 workers assigned to a resource node always providing full value. A third worker is required for full saturation, but only harvests at about 50% efficiency. This means that you generally want to transfer workers to a new base when you have more than twice the number of mineral fields in workers. You can see here that the player selects all of their workers, subtracts the Vespene miners, and then moves the excess workers to his new base. Now for another big change. Supply has been removed in Cosmonarchy Brood War. This, along with the scaling rate of your economy being noticeably slower, allows for players to achieve larger-scale armies without sacrificing the importance of early-game skirmishes. With supply out of the picture, the supply depot has been removed, pylons are cheaper and dedicated to powering Protoss structures, and Ovoleths, formerly Overlords, are pricey early-game detectors and transports. Back to economics. A key component of scaling your economy in Cosmonarchy Brood War is adding additional worker queues. This can be achieved through conventional means of constructing more town centers, but you can also use higher-tier structures as parallel queues. The Terran Quarry add-on, the Protoss Embassy, and the Zerg Larvosk Caesiant all act as macro multipliers for their respective races. Once you achieve higher tiers, advanced workers are ready to take flight. These specialized harvesters are more expensive, and can be used to establish island bases and mine resource nodes that would otherwise be unreachable. Depending on the map, you can use these workers to upgrade your economy without claiming additional bases, or to set up outposts and proxies more flexibly in the mid-game. You've probably noticed by now that you can select more than 12 units in Cosmonarchy Brood War. The actual selection cap is 252, for now, and this allows you to move vast armies all at once. Your precision is still going to be tested, however, as you'll want to select individual units, or small groups, and micro them amidst large battles. On the other hand, you can also select multiple structures, giving them orders like Rally, training units, and selecting larvae. Just like with selecting units, you'll want to select individual structures if you want to purchase specific units, or even the same unit in specific quantities. To keep units consistent, we have removed upgrades and researches. This means that the only way to change the statistics of existing units is through short-lived buffs and debuffs. As a result of this, the tech trees of Cosmonarchy Brood War have been expanded to feature many more units, some of which are designed to outperform similar units in earlier tiers. You can think of these new units as upgrades over their predecessors. An example of this can be found comparing the Maverick, formerly Marine, to the Madcap, a Tier 2 infantry unit trained from the Captaincy. The Madcap has a unique passive compared to the Maverick's active Stimpack ability, but generally wins head-to-head fights, and provides better overall combat performance when contrasted to the lower-tier unit. If your current unit composition isn't getting the job done, you can try pivoting to other units in the same tier, but you should eventually look to ascend up the tech tree and deploy better tools. And speaking of better tools, Cosmonarchy Brood War also features improved rally points. Eggs from larvae and already morphed units can have their own rally points. If not set, the hatched units inherit the rally point from their source structure, if applicable. For other races, rally points now influence the position that a unit is placed upon completion, which helps to reduce positional imbalances and gives players a bit more control when their production is under siege. When compared to standard Starcraft, there are additional camera hotkeys available by default. F1 through F8 are all available, allowing you to switch your cameras between many more bases and rally locations. You can also enable grid hotkeys in your config if you desire. Lastly, Cosmonarchy Brood War features much improved AI, and practicing against those, even for veteran Starcraft players, can be a great way to become familiar with the game's many new units and structures. Facing off against them in some of our bespoke competitive maps will also let you practice your own timings and get accustomed to some of the project's many changes. There's a lot to experience within Cosmonarchy Brood War, and while this video covers the bulk of the macro-related changes, there's no substitute for actually playing the game. Check out our installation guide in the description, and keep an eye out for other crash courses to learn even more about this grand new world we've built for you. Until next time.